Joy-Ann Reid was let go of MSNBC amidst a massive shakeup at the network, leaving everybody trying to figure out what the hell is going on there. Now, in a recent video Joy-Ann Reid released, crying, talking about her show and how it added value to MSNBC, she insinuates that it could potentially be her views that got her fired. And she and others even referenced Gaza specifically, saying that that could be why MSNBC decided to fire her.
Whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things.
Now, in a vacuum, that notion would not be that crazy. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because if you all recall, when the war between Israel and Gaza started, this man, Mehdi Hassan, was fired for just breathing while being Muslim. They didn't even give him a chance to mess up before they kicked him out the door, because they assumed the position that he would take on Gaza. And it wasn't just Mehdi. Several MSNBC reporters and journalists were fired at the start of the conflict between Israel and Gaza after October 7th. Now, surprisingly enough, Maddow came out openly against the firing of Joy-Ann Reid, and even insinuated that because it was Joy-Ann Reid and two other hosts of color that were fired, the MSNBC decision is actually based on race.
It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
Now, as noble as Joy-Ann Reid's rationale may be, and as much as I would love to believe that we could just blame this on race, like Rachel Maddow is trying to do, I'm not gonna lie to you, that's not really what the facts are showing right now. You see, what did make a lot of headlines was the fact that in December of 2024, MSNBC made Joy-Ann Reid take a pay cut, which is probably because, if this report is correct, she was averaging less than 50,000 viewers, and they recovered less than 10% of their advertising costs. And to be frank, Joy isn't being replaced by a white woman, she's being replaced by Simone D. Sanders, a black woman who is, I'm not gonna lie, basically the Walmart brand of Joy-Ann Reid, along with two other hosts who are also not white, but they probably came with a cheaper price tag. Now, Rachel Maddow in that segment goes on to say that dozens of producers and staffers, including some who are amongst the most experienced and most talented and most specialist producers in the building, are facing layoffs. They're being invited to apply for new jobs within the network. To me, that doesn't sound like racism. It doesn't sound like Gaza or anything like that. It sounds like for the last few years, y'all have fucking sucked at your jobs. In that rant, Rachel Maddow forgot to mention she was forced to take a $5 million pay cut this past year as well. In other words, they all should have seen this coming. It's almost as if people don't trust you guys anymore. It's almost as if y'all tried to convince somebody that Russia stole an election for multiple years, and that turned out to be a lie. It's almost as if you guys worked on behalf of a particular political party and helped them rob an election from their own base. It's almost as if maybe firing journalists who were going to cover Gaza pissed people off, because then y'all didn't cover the genocide enough. It's almost as if y'all spent the last 4 years covering for a senile, demented, criminal, mafioso, sex pest. It's almost as if no audience, no matter which political side of the aisle they may fall on, likes being gaslighted all of the time. And you all are merely reaping what you've sown. You can't blame this on race. You can't blame this on your coverage or Gaza or whatever. You've just sucked at your job for a long time, and you're finally dealing with the consequences. Congratulations.